Hi everybody, it's Tina here at Hummingbird Tales. I'm just got something to show you that I've been making. This is for a swap that was on Advanced Junk Journal Makers, and it was hosted by a friend of mine, a wonderful friend of mine called Swanson, and she lives in the US and I'm in the UK, and she's a lovely lady and very talented. So she doesn't just do junk journals, she makes all sorts of things, and she hosted this swap for what they called an embellishment box. I will link her channel in my description because you might like to check her out. But the swap itself was we had to make or alter a plastic box. If I show you an empty one, a moment, I haven't got... Why don't I ever get myself prepared? I haven't got any big ones left, but you know, you get these plastic little boxes to put your jewellery bits and pieces in, your beads and things. Well, this was for a particular size, and I think there's 11 compartments in this one. And there was 3 categories. There was grunge, shabby and vintage. So I decided to do vintage. And what I've done is I've made it like I do one of my covers or my books. So it's all been layered here with paper and coffee dyed cheesecloth. And this is a vintage doily, and here. And this here is a flower that I've made. I've been making them lately. And the lady that I got this idea off is, what's the lady called? Trish, I think she's called. And she does a lot of like lace embellishments and lace everything. And I got this off one of her tutorials, so I will link that in below as well. But anyway, I just thought I would show you, and this is a little extra that I've got going with it, which I'll show you in a moment. I've been rusting my own pins, or my husband has for me, dear of him. So that's come out quite good, but it's been chucked outside the door in with a load of rusty things for a couple months, this safety pin has. So now they've seemed to have rusted. So anyway, this is what we did. We had to cover the top. I've left this on. If the lady that's getting this doesn't want it, then she can take it off. And I left the side and the bottom blank so you could see all the goodies in there. So if we just open this up, okay, if you can see that there. So what I've got here, that's stuck there. Here are a couple of my altered paperclip embellishments, and what I've done is I've stuck this piece of card, well, you know, it's like a heavy paper that's from my old lace paper pad, and I've cut slits in, so because these wouldn't fit in the compartment. So if I see which is, that's the easiest one to take out. So that one is mounted like that, and I made these little tags, and then just simply push it in the slit, and that keeps them in place. So she's got, oh, that's the point. We had to make, sorry, I just smacked my camera. Let's just get this straight. We had to make 3 of the embellishments by hand. So this was my first embellishment. The second one that I made was some more of these little flowers, which I've, I don't know if you can see that. So there's one. That's made with some vintage lace and some cotton. And then these, they need fluffing a bit when they come out of here because they're a bit squished in. But these have got little pearls and a little applique flower in the middle. And they've just got circles on the back, so she can glue them or add safety pins or whatever. And there's some filigree bits here that I've included down there. Yeah, that one won't fit. I've also put in here, well, I'm just really meant to showing you what I've made, but I'll show you what I've put in here. This is a stick pin. I didn't make this one. This one was actually gifted to me, but I've included that, and I'll stick that there. And then over here I've got a little piece of lace that's been tied. There's metal old bits of embellishments and charms and things there. Here I've put in some old vintage doily bits that I've cut off, bits and pieces, but these are all vintage. That one, yeah, that's vintage. You see me using that one a lot. And this one was gifted to me by Ali Commons, but I thought I would share because I've got another one she sent me as well. So that's all vintage in there. And then here I've put in some little flat back pearls and, you know, just gems and things, sorry, that we all use. And here I've put in some of this sparkly stuff, which I use in lots of things. And again, some filigree pieces. There's some book corners in here. You know, just things if she wants to make her own flowers up, or, you know, whatever she wants to use them for. And I've been gifted quite a few stamps recently from my dearest friend Andrea. So what I've done is I've just cut a couple of these off one of the stamp sets that she gave me, because I've got quite a few script stamps and quite a few bird stamps and rose stamps. I forgot to put the bird one in, so I will do that. So I've just included them in there like that. It's a little extra. I'll put all these back properly in a minute. And then here I've got cameos, which look very vintage. And there's a metal frame with a resin round thing there. Then she can put a picture in. And then I've just got some vintage buttons on some bowl pins and some of these Tim Holtz, oh dear life, not very doing very well, my clip things that you see people use in their journals. So I've got them in there. Like I said, I'll put all this back in a minute. So what did I make? So that was the one, and the flowers were the two, and then the third is I made some of these little dangles using these little, well, you hold fabric and all in them to make jewellery. So I've put a bulb pin on and I've just stuck it there, because then she can put it where she'd like on the chain. So a couple bits are vintage, couple bits are not so, or modern. And then I've got this one, which is a bit longer. And that's all layered up. I've seen quite a few ladies make these sort of things, and I really wanted to have a go. And then this one here is a little slim, skinny one on a tiny little clip. It's got cheesecloth and bits and pieces there. So that's what I've got in that compartment. And then in this one up here, it's really fiddly trying to show you all this. I've just put in some blingy bits, which, you know, you can add to flowers or any sort of project really. It's a nice sparkly one. And then up here in this one, I've got a little bit of vintage lace wrapped around a spool. And I've included some of these, so if she wants to make some of those dangly things, there's some chain in there and some jump pins, jump rings and things. So that's basically it. And there's, like I said, loads of metal in there, and I'll put them away in a moment. And then this little extra, I made this rough little bag out of some cotton, and I've stamped vintage on some fabric and just pinned it there. It's a little drawstring bag, and inside I've made a diddy widdy tiny weeny little snippet roll, which I've now, don't pull that out, I've put this through it because the hole's not very big, but it isn't very good really. But because I've left the back plain, my partner can use this. You know, it's not a decorative one as such, but I mounted it on the, I'll do it that way, on the roll. So as you can see, it's just layered bits of lace, and there's vintage on there. Oh my days, this is getting caught up. I might have to, do you know what, I'm going to take that out and put something else through. Right, there we go. So that's a little miniature, tiny one that I was hoping would fit in that box, but you know, it's surprising that that turned out quite thick, as they do. So that goes back in there. So there we go. So that was just a quick share. I'm now going to be catching up with a journal that I've been trying to get done for months, for a private swap, which hopefully I should have finished within the next week or so. And then I'm not going to be doing many swaps for a while, because I've actually got 1, 2, 3 private swaps that I need to do. Andrea Allen is being one of them, after she sent me that fabulous Alice in Wonderland journal. And I'm going to be doing a swap with Stina Swanson as well on a fairy themed journal. So for now, it's goodbye, and I hope you like my little project. And guys, keep well and keep safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.